Ryan Smith on pole position, the man gunning for an 8th consecutive Division 1 title this year. 10 times British champion Stuart Oliver, alongside him Paul Rivett and Adam Bint. The title contenders lead the Division 2 field away a little bit further back. This will be a 15-minute race. Up towards the red lights they come in the sunshine of Snetterton. Ryan Smith has won the first race from pole position at every event so far this year. Can he do so again? Let's find out. We're underway. Decent starts by the two front row men, Bradley Smith and David Jenkins on the second row of the grid. Good start by Bradley, the young gun in the number 46 MAN. They're all away well into riches for the first time. Ryan Smith slots into the lead. And well bunched up behind, Paul Rivett takes the lead of Division 2, 4-time winner at Donington Park last time out. Down towards the Wilson hairpin. Ryan Smith's got the advantage over Stuart Oliver in second place. Side by side for third, Bradley Smith and David Jenkins. Then the Reeds in their Ivicos, and Michael Oliver goes a little bit wide onto the grass there, kicks up some dust as they head down to Palmer, ahead of Stuart Oliver in two bonneted trucks out in front. Bradley Smith defending from David Jenkins for third as they go up towards Agostini for the first time. Completing the top 5 is one of the Reeds in their two Ivicos. Already been some contact there. Looks like some damage to the front of Stephen Powell's MAN. Jim Bennett at the back of the field, the number 28, the Seth Atkinson. Stephen Powell may well have clipped the back of Bradley Smith there. You can see his rear wheel arches hanging loose on the number 46. Looking at the points standings going into this race, it is Ryan Smith who leads on 252 points ahead of Stuart Oliver on 218, David Jenkins on 214, so a fairly close battle between those two for second in the championship. Stuart Oliver, the 10 times champion. We heard from Ryan Smith. He's gunning for his 8th consecutive Division 1 title. Bradley Smith up there in third. I don't know how his crew rebuilt that truck at Donington after he went into the barriers at the Craner Curves at Convoy in the Park so he could contest the very next truck race. Further back in Division 2, the points are led by Adam Bintz, number 5 in his Volvo, ahead of John Powell and Paul Rivett. Paul Rivett had 4 wins at Donington Park and he's leading here at the moment. We'll look back at Division 2 in just a moment. Ricky Collick going sideways there out of Murray's. They complete the first lap. It is Ryan Smith who leads by nearly 2 seconds already ahead of Stuart Oliver. He was over a second quicker than the rest of the field in the qualifying session earlier on this morning. See that damage to the front of Stephen Powell's number 3 MAN. He runs in P9 as they complete their first lap around the Wilson's hairpin. 2 Reeds in there, Simon and Craig, the 2 brothers. They're identical red Ivicos. There's the lead battle in Division 2. The Napa MAN of Paul Rivett has the lead ahead of Adam Bintz. John Powell and Craig Evans battling for third position. There's John Bowler, the number 14, had his only win of the season, his first Division 1 win at Thruxton earlier in the year. John Powell ahead of Evans. Further back, Simon Cole, the number 41. Now, he started the season in Division 1, but after repeated problems with the Division 1 truck, he switched to Division 2 with an Iveco. And with him is Neil Yates, number 33. Now, that's a Division 1 truck, but as a relative newcomer, he's elected to start from the back of the grid behind the Division 2 trucks. Saw him have a huge accident at Thruxton earlier this season, racing one of Stephen Powell's trucks. Ryan Smith continues to lead in the Northside Truck and Van Daimler Freightliner, going clear of Stuart Oliver, the 10-time champion in the Volvo. Bradley Smith, the youngest man on the grid, holding third. David Jenkins in fourth. Then we've got Simon Reed in fifth position. A little bit of smoke there, or steam maybe, off the back of Bradley Smith in the 46. Hope that's not going to prove terminal. maybe just water leaking from the water-cooled braking system. Hopefully that's only the case, and it's not something more serious for young Bradley Smith, who's having a quite superb season. Still yet to get his first win in the British Championship. David Jenkins hasn't won this year either, the former champion. Simon Reed, Michael Oliver, son of Stuart, in the second of the GT Tyres trucks. Then it's Craig Reed. Battle is on between Tom O'Rourke, who gets through there, the Scotsman, ahead of Stephen Powell, and John Bowler, and Ricky Collins, the heavy haulage boss from Yorkshire, in the number 95. Paul Rivett leads Division 2 ahead of Adam Bints. John Powell.
Very comfortable pulling away when he chooses this lap at this race, so he's pumping it down there. He's right and trying to add to his plethora of wins already this season.
9.5 minutes of this race to go. Race 1 of 5 this weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. Here comes Craig Reed attacking Michael Oliver. It's one win for Michael Oliver so far this year at Pembrey in Wales. The trucks go to Wales again in October before the finale on Bonfire Night at Brands Hatch. All 18 trucks still running. One driver we are still missing, sadly, this weekend is Jock Borthwick, after not fully recovering from injuries sustained in a motorcycle accident earlier this season. He had hoped to be back for Snetterton, but he's now aiming for Pembrey in October. There you can see the front bumper hanging off Stephen Powell's MAN, the man from Kent, and he's going to lose a place there. I think Powell's slowing down, in fact. John Bowler going through there at Oggies. Yeah, Stephen Powell's in trouble. He's definitely slowing down. Ryan Smith dominating. He's taken pole position in every qualifying session this year. Looking uncatchable yet again. He had 3 wins at Brands Hatch at the season opener, 3 wins at Pembrey, 2 wins at Thruxton, 3 at Donington. Battle on for third place, Bradley Smith being reeled in. That slightly smoky MAN by David Jenkins. He's desperate for a win this year. And there is gentleman Jim Bennett. Recently celebrated his 74th birthday and still going strong at the wheel of that classic Seddon Atkinson. Not the oldest chassis in the championship though, that's the DAF you can see there, number 6, John Powell is the oldest truck out there. Black and orange flag is being shown. Is that for Stephen Powell? Yes, it is. So number 3, Stephen Powell, is being flagged in. He's slowing down anyway, so that'll be the reason why. The black flag with the orange disc, the meatball flag as the drivers call it, means technical problem, call into the pits. So whether it's that loose bodywork or whether he's leaking fluid or something else, I'm not sure. Stephen Powell's going to have to pull into the pits. David Jenkins pursuing Bradley Smith for third. Then it's Simon Reed. Craig Reed all over the back there of Michael Oliver through the long left at Agostini, named after motorcycle legend Giacomo Agostini. 6.5 minutes remain. No change among the front runners. Stephen Powell has pulled into the pits. Division 2, it's still Paul Rivett ahead of Adam Bint by 1.3 seconds. Rivett trying to close the gap in Division 2. It's a 13-point lead at the moment for Adam Bint over John Powell. Paul Rivett, who had 1 or 2 teething issues at the MAN at the start of the season, in third. Then Craig Evans and Jim Bennett. Here's Simon Cole, recent convert into Division 2. Well, back to Division 2 because he used to run the Mercedes, of course, the Mercedes Beast, as he called it, with support from Team Hard. John Powell still holding off Craig Evans. The battle for third in Division 2. 13th overall. Still Bradley Smith holding on. There's Neil Yates, which scored a glimpse of. There's Jim Bennett at the back of the field, these two having their own battle. Neil Yates in a Division 1 truck. It's only his second time in Division 1, so electing to start from the rear of the grid. Runs a recovery company, Neil Yates, based across the southeast of England. Ryan Smith leads by over 4 seconds now. There's a black and white flag for number 89. That's Simon Reed. It's Craig Reed, who had several lap times deleted for exceeding track limits in qualifying earlier on. There's Tom O'Rourke, the MV Commercials MAN. David Jenkins still desperate to get past Bradley Smith. These two are 4.5 seconds down now on Stuart Oliver in second place. There goes Adam Bint, we just saw in second in Division 2, the black and orange Volvo. Craig Evans up the outside. He's not going to get a truck round the outside of the Wilson's Head. Brown Recycling MAN on the back of the Dutch-built DAF. Towards Palmer. These two fighting for third in Division 2. Looks like Stephen Powell has retired from the race. Now this race decides the grid for race 3 of the weekend, with the top 8 reversed in each division. So who's in 8th place at the moment? It's Tom O'Rourke. This will give him pole for race 3. But in Division 2, well, there's only 6 entries, so they'd be flipped around. It'd be Jim Bennett who starts on pole. Still Ryan Smith pulling away at the front. He's done the fastest lap of the race, 2:23.991. His last lap, though, was a 2:26, slower than Stuart Oliver. Still the third place battle goes on. They're not going to catch Smith and Oliver. Here comes Ryan Smith. Not seen much of him in this race because, as he always seems to in race 1 of the weekend, he's run away. 2:51 left on the clock as he crosses the line, so we should get 2 more laps out of this. No last lap board in evidence. It's 5.8 seconds in it now. Still, Craig Evans can't get past John Powell. Craig Evans is still yet to win in Division 2. He came closest to Brands Hatch at Easter weekend at the season opener when he came within half a lap of his first win, but ran wide over the gravel and allowed John Powell through. Side by side, that's Craig Reed still trying to get past Michael Oliver. It's a very difficult circuit to overtake on the Snetterton 300 circuit in a truck. They get plenty of speed up down the straights. These trucks limited to 100 miles an hour electronically. If you do exceed that speed limit, then you will be penalised. Great run by Bradley Smith. This result he's had this year is a second place. That was at Pembrey. Still yet to win in Division 1. David Jenkins has yet to win this year, the former champion. ST's had is a second at Donington Park and 3 second places at Brands Hatch. There's Neil Yates in the number 33 MAN. Beaten in Division 2 earlier this season. Had a couple of fifths at Thruxton before a big crash in the final race. Get to break the top 10 in Division 1. Coming round to start his final lap, though, is Ryan Smith. Surely heading towards that 8th title. He's made no secret of the fact he wants to better Stuart Oliver's record of 10 titles. Stuart Oliver's been European champion as well. Ryan, budget allowing, would love to compete in the European Championship, which sadly doesn't visit the UK anymore, I'm sure. See Ryan in there, given the chance. And from Nottinghamshire, over the line he goes, and Tom O'Rourke's had a moment down at Nelson. We saw the Dutch dust kicked up on the outside there, and Ricky Collett has got past him in the 95. John Bowler's gone through as well, so O'Rourke's lost 2 places, and dropping out of 8th place has provisionally lost pole position for race 3 tomorrow as well. Smith through the hairpin for the last time. He's over maybe 7 seconds clear of, and O'Rourke's off again. Has he lost brakes? Is he heading for the pit lane, I wonder? There's the pit lane entrance. We'll see if Tom O'Rourke goes in. I think he is. So that will put John Bowler up into pole position for race 3 if he finishes 8th. But he's got Ricky Collett behind him. Neil Yates, number 33, has been lapped, which means Jim Bennett will have been as well, I think. No, Jim Bennett's actually ahead of Neil Yates. There's Jim. So Neil might have had an off somewhere. It's going to be Ryan Smith heading for victory. Has he been beaten in the first race of a weekend at all this year? No, he hasn't. He's won the first 2 races of every meeting so far this year, Ryan Smith. And he's won race 3 twice as well. This will be win number 12 for Ryan this year, because he won race 5 at Brands Hatch as well. Of course, at Thruxton we only had 4 races because the truck racing was abandoned after Neil Yates' accidents in race 4. There's Jim Bennett in the Seth Atkinson. I don't know if Ryan Smith needs to pass him here. He can just take it easy on the run to the line now. But you try telling that to a driver when he's leading a motor race. Through he goes. Keeping up his unbeaten run of pole positions this year. It's going to be his unbeaten run of wins in race 1 at every meeting this year as well. Checkered flag is in sight from the marshals on the pit wall. And here he comes, win number 12 in 2023 for Ryan Smith. Flying Ryan takes the flag. It's going to be Stuart Oliver home in 2nd place. He crosses the line, 8.2 seconds behind. And side by side, almost for 3rd, Bradley Smith hangs on ahead of David Jenkins. Simon Reed will be 5th in the Iveco. Meantime, in Division 2, it's going to be Paul Rivett in his MAN, Division 2 for the slightly less modified, slightly less powerful trucks. Meanwhile, Michael Oliver 6th ahead of Craig Reed. He held off the Iveco. 8th place, it's going to be John Bowler, I think, just ahead of Ricky Collett. John Bowler 8th, and he gets pole for race 3. Paul Rivett in 10th place overall will win Division 2 by a clear margin over Adam Bint. Binty comes home in 2nd place. And the battle for 3rd is going to go to the line. Craig Evans and John Powell side by side. Who's going to be 3rd in Division 2? John Powell just gets there. Beat Craig Evans by less than 0.2 of a second. Jim Bennett and Neil Yates have finished a lap down. Just waiting for Simon Cole to come in with his Iveco. Paul Rivett wins Division 2, Ryan Smith Division 1 in our first truck race of the weekend. Thanks to all your comments coming in on YouTube as well. Go through some of those when we get time. Ryan Smith wins by just over 8 seconds ahead of Stuart Oliver. Bradley Smith holding off David Jenkins for a podium in 3rd, then Simon Reed 5th. Michael Oliver held off Craig Reed for 6th. John Bowler just beat Ricky Collett home for 8th place and pole for Division 1 for race 3 tomorrow. Paul Rivett wins Division 2, completing the top 10 overall.